Alright, welcome to session 2 of Fallen Solo. So, previously, on the previous episode, we went into the village of, we were actually in the village of Schafheim. Samuel Blackmeyer has lived there for some time. We witnessed the burning of our friend Antonia at the stake, and we also were trying to capture the plague doctor, but we almost got killed by a guard that he was with, and now we are going to be arrested. Before we continue though, there's a few things that I would like to cover. So I would like to introduce the campaign notebook that I will be actually using for this session and for the following sessions. So this is made by Perplexing Ruins. It's also the guy who made Fallen. This is not supposed to be used for Fallen, it's supposed to be used for any RPG. As you can see, there's a lot of generators here. There's also some generators on the back, which actually are more pertaining to traditional fantasy stuff, which is why I say that it's not specifically for Fallen. It can be used for any RPG in general that has some fantasy themes to it. There's also some dungeon generator stuff. There's a hex map, it's really, really nice. There's a place for you to draw your dungeons. And here, we have notable NPCs, threats, rumors, missions, settlements, and I have a to-do list here for what I have to actually explain during this session. So let's go through it one by one. Notable NPCs, we have Antonia, who is dead, presumably. She got burned at a stake, so yeah, probably dead. Lord Vlade, the person who we think is responsible for the plague. Captain Kaldvik, his second in command. The mysterious plague doctor, and Glurtz, the bartender. Threats and rumors. Vlade and the doctor caused the plague in Schafheim. There's a treasure near Schafheim, which the Lord Vlade is basically trying to find and is distracting the townsfolk with the plague. That's at least what we think is happening. We don't know for sure. And we know that the doctor is looking for pristine hearts of the recently deceased infected. We don't quite know why he's trying to do that, but he's doing that, yeah. Missions. We're trying to avenge Antonia, however that may be, we don't know yet. We might have to kill Lord Vlade, we might have to kill the doctor. We might have to kill everybody, we don't know yet. We'll have to figure it out. And we also have to escape Schafheim now. The reason why is because by the next day, our face is going to be on the wanted posters everywhere. So yeah, that's gonna be a mission that we're gonna have to do. And settlements, we have Schafheim. To-do list. I would like to explain to you guys the scene system that I'm going to be using. So in my Mockbox Solo series, I didn't use a scene system, but for this game, I'm actually going to be using partially the oracles that Perplexing Ruins supplies for solo play. And there's a system here wherein at the start of each scene, you will roll the oracle, and if you roll 2d6 and a d8, and both d6s are under the d8, you alter the scene. Otherwise, the scene proceeds as intended. And there's a bunch of ways to alter the scene, so we'll get into that later on. In addition, we have to remember to roll our gear dice, because we actually used our weapons in combat. So we'll have to see if our weapon gets damaged. Just gotta remember that. Actually, let's do that right now. Why not? No, our weapon doesn't get damaged, so we can, cross that out. Determine the relationship with Antonia. We have to do that when we start. Tattered leaves. We'll get to this if we are able to do a forest crawl. But I recently, and by recently I mean the past 2 days, I have made a supplement to Fallen that is quite robust. It is 64 events of stuff that can happen in the forest. And it's really, really cool. Look at all that stuff. So we might be going into this later on. I made this and printed it out today. Actually, I printed it out like an hour ago. So yeah, we have that as well. Okay, let's get a drink of tea. Okay, and finally, transfer. So our character sheet previously was this, right? But I have transferred it to my campaign notebook. So my campaign notebook is what I use for a lot of my solo plays. I use it for game book stuff, as you can see. I tested Fallen with this, but now we have an actual character sheet, and I actually put the plot threads and NPCs here, but we're not gonna have to use that, so we actually are gonna have to use this page. We have everything from here put here, and I also have all of the important items starred in case we might need to use them. And I also did some drawings, and that's how our guy is looking. In addition to all of that, I have made tokens that we can use to visualize our journey. So I've made these little 1-inch tokens, and I can make more thanks to this 1-inch hole puncher that I recently got for I think 10 to 15 bucks. It's really useful. You just gotta press that down and you can make small tokens. I have them taped onto Mahjong tokens, and they're really useful. So we might be using that. Alright, so that being said, I think that covers everything we have to cover before we actually start. Let's actually determine our relation with Antonia first, right? We know that we are their mentor, but I didn't go into detail about how Samuel was affected during the death of Antonia. He couldn't show much emotion during that time, but is he really choked up about this? Just to add more dramatic impact, I'm going to say that yes, he is very choked up by this, and it can affect his emotions. So I'm gonna say likely chance. Okay, so that's a yes. He is very, very affected by this. So they were quite close. Were they romantically involved? That's a question that I think is pertinent. Were they romantically involved? Yes, they were romantically involved. So in addition to Antonia being his protege, they were also kind of starting a relationship, and then she got burned at the stake. What can you do? So Samuel Blackmire is seeking revenge and is trying to avenge his love Antonia. I assume that he is the sort who is quite stoic, so he tries to keep his emotions under control. That's just something I'm inferring from the fact that he didn't burst into an outrage or didn't even say anything when he saw Antonia being burned because he knew that it would be suicide. So we have that, and we're going to figure out what happens now. Firstly, the scene. The guard, this guard here, is trying to arrest us. Just before this, let's figure out, is the scene actually in any way altered? So we need D8, and we also need 2D6. So let's see, is the scene altered in any way, shape, or form? That's going to be 3, 5, 8. Yes, it is. It's altered in some way. Okay, interesting. The 3 and 5 are both less than the 8, which means that the scene is altered. How is the scene altered? There's a wrench in the works already. Let's see how it's altered. 4. Environment changes. Oh, I know what this is. Okay. Alright, I have an idea of what's going to happen. But first, let's draw out our scene. And for this, I'm gonna have to move this aside for a bit to make way for this thing. Yes, we'll be using an actual battle map. Wow, professional. Will be a lot more professional if I had space on my table to accommodate all of this, but okay, so we have our Plague Doctor and we have our guard. We're just gonna draw out our map real quick. So I'm gonna put them right there. I'm gonna say a tavern, right? And we're just gonna draw this out real quick. Tavern. And we're also going to have a little bit of the gate visible here. And then we're gonna have the corpse pit a bit further away, I think. Corpse pit. I think the burned corpses, add a bit of a smoky ambience to the gutted rodents atmosphere. We got some stairs there. We got the town square here. Just gonna make that real quick. There you go. And we probably got a house or something over here. Alright, so that's the scene. We have the Plague Doctor, we have the guard, and we have Samuel Blackmire. So, Samuel Blackmire, if you recall, he has black poison, but I was not going to be able to use it. At least I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to use it. We just had an altered scene and the prompt was environmental change. I think I know what this is. Just as the guard is about to arrest Samuel, there's a cloud that moves through the sky and blocks out the moon just for a few seconds. And I think at this point, Samuel grabs out his black poison and throws it in the guard's face. Now we know that the guard had very little HP to begin with. The black poison should kill him just outright. I'm gonna say that the black poison is D8 damage, but either way the guard is gonna be stunned. Does it kill the guard is the question. Do we get another crime put on top of us? Yes, it does. It kills the guard outright. Guard is no more. And the plague doctor can't see what's going on. And I think Samuel rushes behind this part of the tavern and disappears from the view. As the cloud passes by and the moon comes into view again, the plague doctor does not see Samuel anymore. He cries out, "Guards! Guards!" Now we know the guards are over here, like they're quite far away, so I don't think they're going to be able to hear him. It's going to be quite unlikely that they're going to be able to hear the plague doctor from all the way over there. But there might be some patrolling guards around. I'm going to say it's unlikely that they hear him immediately at least. Oh, luckily I said unlikely because that is a barely a no. And yeah, they do not hear him. And Samuel is able to run his way through to here. Now, does the plague doctor actually know that he's trying to escape? He probably can guess that, but he doesn't know where he's going and he doesn't know where he is. So I'm just gonna say 50-50. Does he go this direction or does he go this direction? Does he chase after Samuel? That's the question. So is he able to guess where Samuel is? Oh, he is! 19, that's a very strong yes. He comes around this direction, immediately sees Samuel, and cries out again for the guards. Okay, he's crying out again. Is I think another roll to see. Does anybody hear him? Oh, thank God, 9. Nobody. Okay, I'm gonna say that no guard hears him, but some townsfolk come out sleepily and it's like, "Shut up over there!" They think they're causing some kind of racket or something, but it does attract attention. So the next time the guards are called, I think it's gonna be a likely chance that they see Samuel. So this is basically Samuel's chance. Now, he doesn't have the black poison anymore, but one thing that he got during character creation is his grappling hook. He grabs out his grappling hook and he tries his best to rappel up the pikes. Now, Schafheim is not really heavily guarded, but let me just grab the map of the town here. As you can see, the top parts of these pikes are like kind of sharp, right? So that's gonna be a bit dangerous, especially since he's near dying. Is he able to get over there without taking any damage? Skills. What kind of skill will we be using here? I don't think we'll be using any sort of skill. I think we'll be actually using his agility. Oh, but that's bad though. His agility, if you remember from the previous session, is actually 0. His agility is 0, which is kind of bad for a rogue, to be honest. But his agility is 0, so we're gonna have to test against that. So it's going to be 2d6 without modifiers. Is he able to get up there without any trouble? Oh my god, that's a complication of some sort. I think I know what this is. As he goes up and he's using a grappling hook to climb up, finally a guard comes out the guard post and sees him. And he's like, "What the hell is going on?" And the plague doctor points at Samuel and is like, "Get him down from there!" And I think the guard rushes over and tries to get Samuel down. But that is a complication, but he succeeded in that, which means that the guard is right behind him, and as he hops over those pikes, the guard is gonna have to take some time to get to the gate and alert everybody, and then they're gonna chase after him, basically. So this is gonna be a chase through the forest. But the question is, what is Samuel's plan? Well, I don't know that. What is Samuel's plan? Is there maybe somewhere he can hide? Maybe somewhere he can lay low for a while? He just killed a guard. He is now wanted for murder. I was hoping that the poison wouldn't kill the guard, but it was a very low chance. It would probably have killed the guard outright. The guard only had, like, I believe, 2 to 3 HP and he dealt 7 damage. So he's now wanted for murder, and they can prove it. They have a witness. So, what is his plan? I'm not sure. Let me just erase this first. I think Samuel is rushing out into the woods. I think he's rushing out into the woods. I'm going to say that he knows of a settlement nearby. He heard of a settlement nearby. A settlement named Hillgraab. That's right, we will be using the City and Adventure supplement of Hillgraab today, if we can reach it. But first we have to make it through the forest, and he is being chased by the guards. Can he make it there on time? I think firstly he's gonna have to try to be able to get through to the forest. So he's gonna try to get into the forest, and he's gonna try to lay low for a little while before he continues. He's gonna try to rest. Now, one thing that I'm starting to realize that I did not make for Samuel, especially in the last session, is his place of peace and his place of disturbance. So I didn't write that down in the last session, I believe. So we're gonna generate that out right now. And that's gonna be very important. That's gonna be very important. The reason why is that if he rolls a deep forest on his place of disturbance, he's fucked. He's absolutely fucked. He's so fucked. So I hope I don't roll a 2 on that. We'll see. So firstly, what is his place of peace? 4. A solitary cave, okay? So maybe he was out in nature as a kid, and maybe he has good memories of like going to the cave to play, something like that. Place of disturbance, don't get a 2. 6. The agitated bustle of a city. That will explain why he's in a small village like Schafheim. But that does mean that he's going to have to avoid the more crowded areas in Hillgraab. So we're gonna say place of peace. We're gonna write that here. There we go. Nice. Okay. And luckily we did escape. That's really lucky. Okay, so we know that his place of peace is a solitary cave, and his place of disturbance is the agitated bustle of a city. He's going to go to the forest, and he's going to do a venture roll. On his first venture roll, I hope nothing happens. The reason why I hope nothing happens is he's about to die. He's about to die. He needs to rest, like right now. So, from the rule book, we know that if you rest, let's see here. Here we go. Recover to maximum rank after a safe and comfortable night with sustenance. He has rations. Comfortable might be a bit of a stretch, but we're gonna try a venture roll and see whether he can reach the forest with no issue. Let's try that. Can you do that? Can you do that at least? Can you do that, Samuel, please? Venture roll. Alright. Let's see here. What is his venture? He has 0 in that. Okay. Yeah, so that's just gonna be a 2d6. And we're gonna see what happens. 10. Okay, just right. I need a 10 or above to succeed. So we are able to reach the waypoint safely. We roll our UD, which means that we roll a 20-sided die. If it's a 1 to 2, we decrease in rations. If it's a 13, we're fine. And we roll a 1d20 on the wild table. So this is finally some good luck. We're able to find our first location without any issues. So I'm gonna say this is the entrance of the forest. So what does the entrance of the forest look like? Let's see. Okay, 10. So we come. Oh, that's interesting. We come to the entrance of the forest, and we also see some kind of lair. A lair, like a cave of some sort. Oh, is it a cave of some sort? If it is, then he can probably go there to rest, and he'll probably be inclined to go there to rest since it's his place of peace, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, the question is the lair occupied? Let's see. Is the lair occupied? I hope not. Oh, it's not. Okay. So Samuel peeks in to the cave, and he doesn't see anyone. Seems empty. Seems okay. He takes out his rations, and I think he falls asleep while shivering, partially in rage and partially because it's just really cold out there. So there's that. He's able to rest, and he's able to get back up to where's my eraser? There it is. He's able to go back up to rank 6 out of D6. And not only that, he's also able to recover all of his points. So that's incredibly good. That's incredibly good luck. We are out of danger for the moment. However, we know that we are now a wanted man. The village of Schafheim is going to be chasing after us. So we're going to have to write that down as a thread. Samuel is wanted for murder. Oh my god. Oh well. Oh well. That's how it goes. Okay, so there's that. we're gonna have to figure out how much distance is there until we actually reach the city of Hillgraab. So I'm gonna say it's a perilous journey. So it's gonna be a d6 plus 1. That's how many waypoints we have to reach until we reach the city of Hillgraab. 3. So that's 4 waypoints that he has to reach. Okay. So let me just pick some space here. Yeah. So we'll basically say there to there to there to there. So I'm gonna say the entrance does not count. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so he has to basically reach here in order to get to Hillgraab. Oh wait, no, actually that will count as a waypoint as well. So yeah, I'm gonna say he has one more than that to go, and he will basically reach Hillgraab. Alright, so once he reaches down here, he'll have reached Hillgraab. But along the way, there's gonna be issues, as we will see. So finally, we're able to use the supplement that I made, Tethered Leaves. Now, this is not the final version of this procedural forest crawl, but it is pretty close. By the time that this video is up, this will be up on my itch.io, and I will leave the description down below on where you can, download it and stuff. So let's give it a quick read. So in order to use Tethered Leaves, to start your forest crawl, roll for your journey waypoints. We've already done that. We already know how many waypoints we need. Generate each waypoint with a D88 roll and venture between each waypoint as per the rules in the core book, but only roll on the in the wild table if the terrain is not specified. So reroll waypoints if you've already encountered them, and the random tables are all a D8 to make things simple. So we're gonna roll 2 D8s. We're gonna say that the black one is the 10s and the purple one is the 1s, and we're gonna be able to figure out what happens on our next waypoint. But first, we actually have to venture there as per normal. So no modifiers, unfortunately, because because Black Mire sucks. So we're gonna roll that, and that's gonna be a success. Okay, so we're gonna roll our UD to see if we actually use any rations. 16. No, that's not a 1 or 2, so we are okay in that regard. We move down. There we go, and we find ourselves in a different place. Let's roll them tables. Let's see here. I said that this was the 10th, I believe, so 58. Oh my god. A Dead Knight. You meet a Dead Knight, page 32. That's a pretty rare encounter. That's a pretty rare encounter, actually. Most of the encounters I put in this book are not deadly. The Dead Knight sort of is. He's like one of the few ones that are pretty dangerous. Let's see here. We find ourselves face to face with a Dead Knight. They are a dishonored warrior of the Holy Wars, now an eclipsed spirit that wanders the cemeteries and churches, terrifying the people and slaughtering the elders. These relentless spirit warriors scream their songs of devastation while tears of black run over their sallow cheeks. So, the next day, we're walking through the forest, we're all good, and we come across pretty much nothing during the day. And we find ourselves in, let's see here, where do we find ourselves in? Okay, we find ourselves in a place that we rest in, so it's gonna be 10. We find another cave of some sort, and I'm gonna assume that it's, it's not crowded. Maybe there's some rabbits in there or something. And we kind of take a rest there for the night. At night though, we hear a noise, and we look out, and we see this eclipsed spirit with black running over their sallow cheeks. What is this Dead Knight doing? That's an interesting question. Let's see. So, what is it doing? 6. Oh my god, it's fighting somebody else. So we hear the sounds of combat outside our cave, and they're locked in combat with an NPC. Is the NPC a guard from the town who came looking for us? I think that's likely. That'll be pretty interesting as well. So let's see that. Is it a guard who was from the village and was looking after us? It is. Very much so. In fact, it's a 20. Is it Captain Keldvik? It's a 20. So that means that's a very much a yes. Is it Captain Keldvik? I'm gonna say it's a 50% chance. It is not. Okay. It's just maybe a senior guard. Is fighting this dead knight. What do we want to do about this? I think we're gonna have to move on. We're gonna have to stealth our way through and make sure they don't see us. Because if either of them sees us, it's gonna be bad news. Depending on who wins the fight, probably the dead knight. But if the dead knight sees us, we're screwed. If the NPC, which is the guard, sees us, we are also screwed. So we're gonna have to stealth through this. And I think it's gonna be easier because they are fighting each other, right? The guard was looking for us, but you know, they are fighting a knight, a very horrible, ghostly knight. So actually, my next question is, does this spook Samuel in any way whatsoever? We haven't really determined how magical the world is, how mystical the world is. Let's figure that out. Is he the superstitious sort? Like, is Samuel like horrified by this? No, he is not. So I was gonna say if he is horrified by this, he would have to actually test against fear. But since it's so far away and he can barely see it, he's just a little bit spooked. He's not like horrified by it. He's heard these rumors of these dead knights, and he sees them in combat with one of the senior guards. He tries to sneak past them. What is his stealth? Let's see here. His stealth is a 2. Okay, so that's good. So he's gonna try to sneak past these two fighting NPCs, and he succeeds, barely. So he's able to stealth past them. See here. Here we go. Stealth. You achieve your goal on a success. Okay, yeah. We're able to stealth past them, and we're able to put some distance between. We're able to put some distance between ourselves and the guards, hopefully. So we're actually going to have to venture out on the next day as well. Let's see. Is he able to do it? We've been getting good luck on the venture roll so far, but 9. That's going to be a complication. What is this complication? Well, let's see here. Skills. Venture. Complication. Reach a waypoint with difficulty. Roll UD. And roll a 1d20 on the Into the Wild table. Okay. So we're going to roll a UD. We do reach it, but with some kind of difficulty. Oh, we get a 2 as well. So we actually go down in supplies. Oh no. So that's going to put our UD down to 12. So we are eating our rations, and maybe we find that less of them are there now, and we're starting to run out. So that's bad. In addition to that bad thing, we are also going to have to figure out what kind of event happens to us. 5. Thankfully, nothing actually happens in terms of like something unfortunate. But let's see where we are in the wild table. So we're gonna roll a d20. We got a 4. We are in a cemetery of some sort. Okay, let's figure out what we find. So that's gonna be a 1, 2. That's gonna be a 12. What is it that we find? Oh my, okay. We find ourselves in a cemetery of some kind. This is a very spooky forest, because in addition to the cemetery, we find, at the edge of the cemetery, we find a large black obelisk. All light seems to disappear within its form. Having seen the dead knight the night before, and now seeing this large black obelisk, Samuel can't help but feel that they are connected in some way. I think Samuel is going to want to investigate, but if you wish to investigate, you will also have to test fear against a fear rating of 2. So I think Samuel is going to do it. If he gets a fear token, that's pretty bad, but he's going to try to do it. Okay? So he's going to do an investigation. He has an investigation skill of 1, and he's also going to have to test his will. Let's see what happens. And he gets success. He gets a success on his investigation, but does he get a success on his will check? He does. Okay, that's very, very, very lucky. We're getting good rolls so far. That's good. So he's able to test against his fear. He's able to be courageous. And he also finds a latch on the backside of the obelisk, and he opens it. What does he find inside this obelisk? 2. He finds D2 pamphlets. How many are those? He finds 2 pamphlets. Pamphlets in Fallen are basically incantations. They are ways to cast magic, and he knows that this is connected to the dead knight in some way. Is something that he can actually use to cast magic, possibly beneficial magic, or possibly harmful. We'll see. So actually, the way to determine a pamphlet's contents is to roll d6 for each group they are in, and then roll d6 for what is within that group. So I'll show it right now. So let's first roll for this part, the column, and we get a 4. So it's this column. So we're gonna roll d6, and we got a 6. So we get a pamphlet that starts with dream. So I'm gonna write there pamphlet, dream what? 4. Again, we got 4. 3. Dream web. So the way that pamphlets work in Fallen is that it's very much up to your interpretation. So dream web, I believe it means that it can cause an interconnected web of dreams, which means that if you cast this, you can enter somebody else's dream. That's what I'm thinking right now. That's interesting. So basically, if Samuel casts this, he is able to go into somebody else's dream if they are unconscious or if they are sleeping. He's able to actually enter into their dreams and possibly do some mental damage to them. This is very cool. Okay, so I'm going to say that that's what it does. Let's see what the next pamphlet does. So we're gonna get a 1. It's gonna be here. And we get a 2. Pillage. Okay. Pillage what? Pillage 2. 1. Illuminate. Pillage, illuminate. Pillage of illumination. Pillaging illumination. It is able to cast darkness. So I'm gonna write the darkness. It's able to remove all light from an area and cast it into darkness. That seems like it would be very handy, especially since he was able to use that darkness to escape from that guard and Plague Doctor. So Dream Web is going to be entering dreams. We basically have these 2 pamphlets. I believe these 2 pamphlets are owned by the Dead Knight, so he's not going to be very happy that we stole them. Oh well, we'll deal with that when it happens. I think we should write that as a thread though. We stole some stuff from the Dead Knight. Oh no. Samuel, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Samuel stole 2 very, very potent pamphlets from the Dead Knight. Samuel, you're an idiot. I have no idea why you think this is a good idea, but well, we do have some very powerful pamphlets at our disposal now. So next venture roll. I think he's gonna just sleep at the cemetery and he's gonna wake up the next day and he's gonna... Ooh, we're getting very good rolls. He's gonna do a successful venture roll. He's gonna have to roll for the UD. It's fine. Oh wait, we have to roll a D12, sorry, because our UD is now at 12, so it's gonna be a 5. He's fine. Okay, so that's done. We're gonna have to figure out what is in the next waypoint. It's a very spooky forest so far, so I wonder if it's gonna continue that way. 5 and 6. Let's see here. Collapsed ruins block your path. You can either do a strength check to clear the rubble, or you can do a venture roll at -2 modifier. I don't think we're gonna want to do a venture roll at -2 modifier. Is Samuel strong? He's not really that strong. He's not that strong. I think what we're gonna do though, is we are going to actually try to clear the rubble, but he's actually gonna use his focus for this. Or he's gonna try to use the rest of his strength. So he's gonna try to use the rest of his strength, which means that he gets an extra d6, and he's gonna try to clear the rubble. That is going to be a success. So you find a shortcut, succeed the next venture roll automatically. That's good news. That's very good news. So we're able to succeed the next venture roll automatically, which means that we actually move to the next spot automatically. Oh wait, he went down here. Oh, he should make the next venture roll here. Okay, there we go. So he's able to make the next venture roll automatically. Let's actually figure out where is he this time. But first we'll roll our UD again. Oh, I keep forgetting that it's going to be a D12. Let me check that. It's going to be a 6. That's fine. He does not use too much of his rations. He keeps moving forward. What is this next area that he finds himself in? Let's see. 6-3. Mysterious letter. Ooh. You find a thick coat, AV2. Is that better than our... Oh, no, it's not. Okay, we don't bother taking it because it's not better armor value than our cassock. You find a thick coat. Or maybe we replace it. Yeah, maybe it's like... Maybe this could like allow us to evade them better. So I think we're gonna replace our cassock with the thick coat. We're gonna leave our cassock here, and we're gonna grab this thick coat instead. I'm thinking it's like a long coat of some kind. The cassock is something that's used in a religious setting. It has that I don't know what you call it, that metal thing at the front of the collar. But yeah, he changes that for a thick coat. So actually we're gonna redraw that. It's gonna look a bit more like a badass now. Let's go like that. Yeah, let's go with that. Nice. So, you find a thick coat with a mysterious letter in it. It is still sealed and addressed to somebody in a nearby town. Hillgraab. I'm gonna say it's just Hillgraab. I'm gonna say it's Hillgraab. Or is it Schafheim? You know, I think it's more interesting if it's somebody in Hillgraab, so I'm gonna say it's likely. I'm just gonna say it's likely. Is it somebody in Hillgraab? We got our first random event of the game. What is the random event that occurs? Oh, but firstly, we have to roll again because we need to find out. Is it Hillgraab? That's gonna be yes. So it's addressed to somebody in Hillgraab. Let's figure out their name first, and then we'll figure out what happens to us. Letter 2 to who? Let's see here. Names. Let's see here. 17. Gaius Bloodsworth. Sounds like a badass. Letter to Gaius Bloodsworth. It's still sealed. Does Samuel break the seal? I feel like he's gonna be the sort who does, actually. Does he break the seal? Before that, before he breaks the seal, or not break the seal, let's figure out what's the random event that occurs to us. Let's find that out right now. Fingers crossed. Let's see, a random event focus. Okay. So we're gonna be using the oracle that Perplexing Ruins has already provided. Let's find out. 2. A new plot. Well, the new plot is obvious, right? He opens up the letter and finds some kind of new plot. So yeah, that sets his actions in stone. So I think what we're gonna do is we are actually going to shift the narrative direction, because I'm not sure what this new plot is, right? 6. Put a PC in a tough spot. There's this letter to Gaius Bloodsworth, and it's something that is related to Antonia. I'm not sure of the specifics, so I think I'm gonna have to roll on that. So actually, let's roll on the oracle, like right here. Let's see. What do we find in this letter? 52. Posthumous. It's a letter to Antonia. It's a letter to Antonia Bloodsworth from her brother Gaius Bloodsworth. Posthumous. Antonia is dead and Gaius does not know that. Samuel is put into this precarious position where he does have to tell Gaius that his sister is dead, but Gaius might turn him into the authorities. Probably not though, given that his sister was killed by the authorities, but we'll see what kind of person Gaius is when we actually get there. So, we're gonna have to write that as a thread. But that's an interesting plot development. We have a potential ally on our side now. But we're put into a difficult spot because we have to deliver the news of her death to her brother. So, we're gonna write a new NPC, Gaius Bloodsworth. And Antonia is actually Antonia Bloodsworth. Interesting. So, Samuel, deliver news of Antonia's death to Gaius. This is quite a coincidence though. This is quite a coincidence wherein we find a letter to somebody we knew. Samuel is a bit suspicious of this. And he rightly should be. It's all a bit too coincidental. Almost as if it's randomly determined. But yeah, I think he's going to be very cautious about Gaius, and I think he's going to actually try to find out more information about him when he can. But for the moment, he found this jacket, presumably... Actually, that's a good question. Does the jacket have any marks on it that might give us an idea of who it belonged to? I'm gonna say that's 50-50, I'm not sure. No, extreme no. There's nothing on it at all. There's no markings, there's no tell of who it might be. You cannot tell anything about like who wore this jacket and why this letter was here. But presumably it was a messenger of some sort who dropped it. Maybe they were fleeing some kind of animal or something. But given that I got a 1 on that, I'm gonna say we do not know. It's all rather spooky. But he's gonna do one more venture roll down here. And we're gonna see what happens on this second final venture roll. He keeps getting good rolls. What's with these rolls now? That's very good luck. Okay, he's able to do the venture roll. We're gonna have to check his UD though. That's a 2. Oh no, oh no. He's using up a lot of his rations. So that's going to go down to a D10. And he's starting to run out of rations. But he's able to move to the next spot. And we're able to roll up what is in this next region. Let's see here. 66. Okay. Okay, so that's very interesting. We found an escaped prisoner / slave. Where do we find them in? 1. We find them near a statue of some sort. Okay, that's interesting. Are they praying to the statue? I'm gonna say that's likely. Yup, they are praying to the statue. Maybe praying that nobody will find them. The statue, I'm assuming, is some kind of like religious monument. And the question is, who is this escaped prisoner / slave? They are still bound, by the way. They're still bound in ropes. And they are basically praying, but they have their hands behind their backs. They're barely able to escape. Who is this? Let's see. It is not an escaped criminal, but we will find out who it is on the hirelings section. Here we go. Okay. 5. A cleric. Okay, that makes sense why they are praying to this statue. We find this cleric out in the open, praying to this statue with their hands bound behind their back. Interesting. I think we approach with caution. I'm gonna do a stealth check. And I'm just gonna remove this because we've already passed the day. Let's do a stealth check and see whether we can sneak up on this person without trouble. What's with the rolls today? Okay, that's barely a success. It's gonna be an 8 plus 2 is a 10. And it's a 10 plus, so it's a success. We're able to get up behind them and we're able to cup their hands so that they don't scream. And we say, well, Samuel says, I mean you no harm. I have respect for men of the cloth. I'm going to remove my hand and you're not going to scream, alright? I'm gonna help you. And to show that, he takes out his saber, which the cleric's eyes open wide with fear, but then he cuts off the rope that binds the cleric. The cleric kind of like, massages his wrist for a bit and says thank you. What is this cleric like? I want to know what their personality is like. 20. Okay, let's see here. 12. Friendly. Okay, they're very friendly. So they say, thank you. I really needed that. I appreciate that you have freed me. But why were they bound? I think this is interesting. The dead knight is somebody that we saw, right? It seems that everything is being connected to this dead knight. So I'm gonna say, is it that he was captured by the dead knight? Especially since we know that the dead knight is some kind of unholy ghost. That would make sense that this forest is haunted by this dead knight. I'm gonna say it's likely. No, it is not connected to the dead knight. First, we're gonna figure out what the cleric was tied up for, and then we're gonna figure out what the random event is. So let's see here. What was the cleric being tied up for? 15. That's gonna be Tears skeleton. We know that it's not the dead knight, but this immediately makes me think of people who are dead. Like maybe it's one of the dead knights, like emissaries, or maybe it's one of the dead knights. Maybe there are multiple dead knights in this forest. Is that the case? Is it two brothers, like two dead knights who control this forest? And I think that's likely. Let's go for it. It is not. Okay, so it's just, yeah, I think he was captured by a band of ghouls. This forest is kind of an eerie forest, controlled by the dead knight, but there are also ghouls around, and maybe they were planning to use him as a sacrifice or something else. I think that will make sense given this. So, yeah, we basically have a cleric who was captured by ghouls, and we have freed him now. And that will also make sense why he was praying to a religious statue of some kind. Everything seems to make sense here. So, this cleric figure, we can see from this that on freeing them, they will work for you for D2 days for free. Let's see how many days that is. 1 day. I think we have an ally for 1 day, and I think I know why. He asked me where I'm headed because he's friendly, he just immediately takes to me and he's like, friend, where are you headed? And Samuel isn't sure whether he's gonna say it or not, but eventually he goes, Hillgraab. I'm going to Hillgraab. Ah, that is where I'm from. I shall perhaps follow you on this journey. We can help each other. I can heal you, I guess. And I have a knife. He takes out this really, really small dagger, and Samuel kind of looks at it, looks at his saber, and it's like, I don't think that's gonna be needed. And Cleric goes, look, I can help, right? And you can help me. Does Samuel tell him that he's wanted? Because he doesn't want this innocent person to get caught up in all this. I don't know. It's gonna be a 50-50. Does he tell him that he's wanted? He does. Look, Mr. What is his name? Let's see here. Let's make a name real quick. Let's just roll. 14. Carlos. Mr. Carlos. You can just call me Carlos. Carlos, right. Look, Carlos, I'm kind of wanted. Carlos' eyes widen. Wanted for what? Well, I don't really want to say, but if you follow me, there is gonna be danger involved. Carlos looks around at the forest. He's like, danger? We're already in an extremely dangerous forest, and there's ghouls. And did you know there's an undead knight as well? And Samuel's like, yeah, I saw him a few days back. Look, Carlos, like, if you want to follow me, that's fine. I can get you back to Hillgraab. But you can't say you met me, alright? You can't tell anybody my description. You can't say anything. Of course, says Carlos. And I'll owe you a favor as well. Come by the cathedral anytime. Samuel's like, well, okay. And they continue, Samuel and Carlos. So I'm gonna write Carlos down as an NPC. So I'm gonna write Carlos, and I'm also gonna note that he owes Samuel a favor. Carlos feels he owes Samuel. And finally, after all of that, we do our final venture roll, and we head out of the forest, hopefully. Oh no, that's our first failed venture roll. What happens? What happens? Let's look at the venture skill check. Miss, travel proves treacherous. Reduce UD and suffer fate. Reduce UD, that's really bad. UD goes down to 8. I think, unfortunately, Carlos has to be fed as well. So our UD goes down, which means our rations go down. But in addition to that, suffer fate. What happens? What happens? 8. A new adversary or environmental conflict is introduced. I know what this is. As they are walking out of the forest, they come face to face with the dead knight. Oh my god, okay, they come face to face with the dead knight. And the dead knight looks them up and down. I think this is going to be near evening, I'm gonna say. And they come face to face with the dead knight, the dishonored warrior of the holy wars. Oof, he looks them up and down and says, you. He points at Samuel. You have stolen from me. You will give back my pamphlets. He asks for his pamphlets back. I don't think Samuel is the sort who is going to give the pamphlets back very easily, unfortunately. Also unfortunately though, the Dead Knight has a rank of 10. If we're actually going to go into combat with it, both of us are going to have to test our fear, and both of us are going to have to try to take him down. I don't think we have a chance. I really do not think we have a chance against the Dead Knight. We didn't even have a chance against the guard. But Samuel isn't going to give up the pamphlets very easily. I think Carlos looks back and forth between Samuel and the Dead Knight in fear. And he whispers, what do we do? What do we do, Samuel? Samuel's like, huh. I think at this point, Samuel screams, Carlos, you go right, I go left. And immediately starts running to the left of the Dead Knight. Carlos immediately starts sprinting to the right. So I think they're gonna do a flee check first, but only if the Dead Knight follows Samuel. I think he's going to. There's a high likelihood that the Dead Knight is gonna follow. In fact, it's a sure thing. I'm gonna roll 3d20 and pick the highest one. Oh my god, it's another random event! What is with the luck today? It's another random event. I need to roll again. Yes, he definitely chases after Samuel. Another random event happens. What is it that happens this time? Random event. Let's see, random event focus. What is it that happens? 5. That's gonna be the player. It's a random event focused on the player. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna roll on this and see what happens. Something happens to Samuel. That's gonna be 16. Blood. God damn it. Random event. Samuel is the one affected, and blood is the prompt. I think he comes face to face with several ghouls on top of that. And now he's being surrounded from all sides by the Dead Knight, by the ghouls. He's just surrounded from all sides. This is very, very bad. In addition to that, he's gonna have to try to flee from this. This is gonna be really hard though. Let me see, what are the fleeing rules? He's not gonna try to fight. He has to flee. But how much damage is he gonna take while fleeing? Fleeing rules. Test will. On success, move a safe distance away. If engaged in close combat, take 1 harm. I'm gonna say that he is close enough for them to actually slash at him. He needs to run away. So he's gonna test his will. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna use up every single one of my attributes except for will. So I'm going to actually get 4d6. Unless they come up as all ones, I hope I'll be able to flee. It needs to be a success, so it needs to be a 10 plus. If not, something really, really, really bad happens. Should I get 1 more dice? You know what? I'm gonna get 1 more dice. This is very crucial. This is incredibly crucial. I need 1 more die. Oh, okay, I got it. Okay, that. Alright, this better not come up all at once. Yup, that's fine. Okay, that's way more than enough. That's a lot more than enough. I think Samuel is able to flee. He takes 1 harm immediately from one of the ghouls, but he basically makes a concerted burst of effort and he's able to flee. Is he able to meet up with Carlos before he gets to the city of Hillgraab? I don't know. It's gonna be a 50-50. Let's see. It's a 1 in 20 chance of that happening, and that keeps happening. Random event. Let's roll again. 11. Okay, he's able to meet up with Carlos just barely, but something else happens to them. Another random event. Another 10 is rolled, and another random event is rolled. So let's see here. 7. Faction. Something happens to a faction. So is it the Dead Knights? Yeah, something happens to the faction of the Dead Knights. What is it that happens while we are fleeing them? 23. In. Guns! The guards come up from behind them and they start slaughtering the ghouls and start engaging in combat with the Dead Knight. There's shots fired, gunshots ring into the air, and Samuel looks back and he sees Captain Keldvig right on his trail. They were following him the entire time. But does Captain Keldvig see Samuel fleeing? Does he see him? I don't know. I hope not. I really hope not. Does Samuel get spotted during all this? He does! Captain Keldvig sees Samuel as he flees towards the direction of Hillgraab, and Samuel has to do 1 more venture roll. He has to do 1 more venture roll. Please get something good. 6, 8. He has an 8, which means a complication, right? Yeah. So I roll d6. I reached the waypoint with difficulty. Suffer fate on a 1 to 4. I got a 5. We are able to reach Hillgraab, and we have to roll our UD. Make sure that we don't run out of resources. Oh, barely. Okay, we don't. That's fine. We reach the city of Hillgraab. We are let in, and I think Samuel is able to lose the guards within this city, especially since they are so engaged with the Dead Knight and the ghouls. I think it's a fair chance to say that at least until the next morning he is safe. Carlos, once they reach Hillgraab, parts ways with Samuel. That's where he starts his investigation. He finds somewhere to sleep. I don't think he's gonna go to a tavern. He's not stupid, right? I think what he does immediately is he tries to look around for Gaius Bloodworth. So, what is his profession? What is Gaius's profession? Is he someone that you can just find very easily? I mean, he's got an investigation, so let's see. Is he able to find Gaius? That's gonna be no, he is not. He fails completely. I think not only does he fail completely, let's see here. Suffer fate. Oh no. He tries to look for Gaius, but he just draws attention towards himself. I think I'm not even gonna roll on this. I think what's gonna happen is that he He's seen by some of the city folk, and it can be confirmed that he is now in Hillgraab. The guards of Schafheim basically know he's in Hillgraab and will put out a bounty on him within this city. That's very bad. I'm gonna roll again, one more time. Is he able to find Gaius? 7. Complication. He finds him, but something complicates the situation. What is the complication? Firstly, what is Gaius' job, right? What's his position? Let's see. 2. Oh no! I know why the situation is complicated. Gaius is a soldier. He's supposed to be hunting down Samuel. The person that Samuel was supposed to deliver the message to, the brother of Antonia, is a soldier within Hillgraab. He cannot go to Gaius. If he approaches Gaius, there's a high likelihood that he'll get taken in. So where's he gonna sleep? This is a good question. Like, we find out that Gaius is actually a soldier, and we cannot approach him because we are wanted in this city. So I think what happens is that, for the moment, Samuel has to sleep out on the streets, like some kind of homeless person. He can't sleep in a tavern because, there's a bounty on him. Maybe he just, like, puts down the brim of his hat. I don't know. He does something to disguise himself, and he just goes to sleep in the middle of a back alley somewhere, maybe behind some kind of tavern, and he dreams of better days. Let's actually figure out, where in Hillgraab is he? Where in Hillgraab is he? I'm gonna make the executive decision and say that he is in... where is it? He's either in the dens, or he's in Rat's Maze. So he's either in the lower class area, or he's in the criminal area. So, let's see, let's just use a d20 here. Is he in the dens? It's gonna be 7. He is in Rat's Maze. So he falls asleep in Rat's Maze, in a back alley. Very, very stupid of him. But he doesn't know the city. He doesn't know that this is a very dangerous area. And he just falls asleep in the back alley. What happens to him, we'll find out next time. Oh, that was crazy. That was like really, really fun. I did not expect that Antonia's brother was a soldier, but okay.